Hello my little goobers, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to a brand new video. My name is Ray or Bogo5, whichever one you guys want to comment by. I honestly really don't care. And today we are doing a product review on the Arrtx alcohol-based markers. This is the set of 30 grayscale markers. I bought this on Amazon for $19.98, I think. It might be a little bit different. And I bought these because I use a lot of gray, for shading and stuff, especially the warm grays on skin tones, for darker shadings when I don't want to use, brown or, overlay, peach skin tones and stuff. So I like to use gray to do shading and stuff. And I really didn't want to buy another set of, Ohuhus, especially the 120, because I bought the 120 and I'm gonna have, extra markers everywhere. So, and especially I want to be spending another $60, $70 again to buy another set of markers just for 2-3 markers. So why not just buy a set of 30 grayscale markers for like $20, like literally like half the price. So that's how we got here today, and these are the Arrtx alcohol-based markers. This set comes with, again, 30 markers. These are not included in the set, but I will be using one Ohuhu and one Winsor & Newton to compare and contrast between the Arrtx marker. So I'll put those over there for now, but and I also put them in here in this Arrtx bag because I didn't have any more storage left on my shelf to store those alcohol markers. And yeah, so yeah, so this is the set. It comes with a little tote bag. It's just your standard black canvas tote bag with the initials here and a handle here, is zippy to close all the thing. It didn't come with like a hoo-hoo. It didn't come with any little, I guess another thing I think of. Yeah, it didn't come with like a swatch sheet, like a pre-made one, or like, one of these to protect your paper from bleeding on your table or in your sketchbook. So I'm just gonna be using this on my table because I don't want to destroy it because I've already destroyed it over here on this side. So I'm just using the one I got from my hoo-hoo pack. And yeah, so let's take a closer look at these alcohol-based markers and see what they are all about. So the first thing that I noticed with these alcohol-based markers is that their barrel is completely different from other name brands like Ohuhu, Banyo. They all have these like really like cylinder, oval shaped barrels, or like, the Touch New or the Lamention It, which I'm actually gonna buy. I'm gonna butcher that name every single time I look at it or say it. But these are really different because one side is like, this, where it's got like a circle, and this is the bullet side. Hold on. This is the bullet side, and that's what the cap looks like, which I really like. I really like that because it's easier to distinguish between the chisel nib and the what do you call it, the bullet nib when you pull it out. Like, if this was upside down, you could easily tell this was the bullet nib and all these were all the chisel nibs. So it's so much easier to distinguish all the markers between each other. And also they come with their color name and their color number. So this is blue gray 3, and this is like kind of like almost in the middle. And then like a blue-gray one will be really light, and then like a blue-gray 9 would be like the darkest of the blue-grays. And this set also comes with blue-grays, green-gray, warm gray, and cool gray. So you get a whole type of selection of grays that you can choose for your drawing, which I really like that. Like, compared to like Tombos only have like 10 grays, and that's it. Like, but this has 30 gray markers, and that's awesome. So I really like that about these markers, and they come with the nice wide range of shades for gray, which is awesome. So like the first thing, as you can see obviously with the Ohuhu and the Arrtx markers side by side, is that obviously with Ohuhu the nibs are the same, and not the nibs, the caps just have a number, and these actually have a color name, which I like because, I don't know, markers sound so much better when they have like, a color name, like Crimson Red or like, Sunflower Yellow. Those just sound much more better than just, FO4 or whatever. And as you can see with the Ohuhu, This is what the bullet nib looks like. This is what the Arrtx bullet nib looks like. And they look really similar, but like kind of like this looks like this nib thing is longer, and the Ohuhu looks like it's a bit shorter, but I think a little wider. And the nibs for the bullet and the both the bullet and the bullet on both of the markers, I don't know, they're like really close, but like this one looks a lot slimmer and the Arrtx looks a lot more wider. So I don't know what that will do. But yeah, and then let's compare to the chisel and the chisel. I just like that they both have gray lines, you know, because this right here is the gray line, and they have gray lines to be able to compare, and you know, it's just much more easier to know which side is which is really nice, and it's much more helpful, you know, when you're picking out all your colors and then, you know, you get the wrong side. But as you can see, hopefully if you can, I'm trying to make this as viewable as possible, but the Arrtx one, the nib for the chisel is way longer than, it's mostly a little bit longer than, you know, the Ohuhu one. And on the chisel side, the thing that holds the nib is actually gray, unlike the one with the Ohuhu. The gray one is on the bullet nib. So that's something like a lot more refreshing. But yeah, so far I really like the design of these markers. Let's compare them to the Winsor and Newton. So I know this comparison will be a little bit far-fetched because this is a brush marker and this is a chisel. You know, it's like the Copic Classics where they have, you know, a chisel nib and a bullet nib, and this one has a chisel nib and a brush nib. So it'll be a little bit much more different to compare them, but I also kind of want to compare the sizes as well, just so you guys will see what they look like compared to other markers. And actually the chisel side on the Winsor and Newton looks really similar. Like the caps look really similar to, you know, the Arrtx sponge, which is kind of interesting, actually kind of fun, kind of interesting. But it looks like that the Winsor and Newton ones are a little bit smaller in like barrel size. This is a lot bigger, probably because it's a rectangle. And then this is obviously the brush tip, and I'm actually eventually going to buy some, you know, the full pack of brush markers from Winsor and Newton when I have the money, but and this is the chisel side, and the chisel is actually, I think, the same length as the Ohuhu one. It's about, and then, you know, the Arrtx one is way longer, like way longer, and much like it's less sharper, which is something pretty interesting. Yeah, so those are all the markers compared to each other. And also a little bit of a tip, I wish I should have mentioned this in my Ohuhu marker video. I might actually redo that in the future when I get the brush markers. So this tip for beginners, the way how you know if you properly actually close the cap on your markers, so you don't waste all your ink and you don't dry out your markers, and you gotta go buy a new set, which no one likes, is that you wanna make sure that you completely close it and you hear the loud snap. You want to hear that snap when you close the marker. This way you know that all the air is all, like, you know, or the cap is fully closed, and you know it's not open, you know, like, you know, it's not just this where it's kind of ish open, but you know, almost closed. So you want to make sure you hear that snap to make sure that all of your markers are closed, and this way none of your little babies are getting all dried out. So I have emptied out all of them, well, not all of them, I kept all the cool grays in the bag so I could kind of keep them all organized in little sections. But here is the little like swatch sheet that I created. It is Arrtx alcohol-based markers, grayscale 30 count set. This is drawn on mixed media paper by Canson, and I'm probably gonna have to put a little the protected sheet on the back so it does not damage my table or my backdrop, and it's gonna look weird forever. And yeah, so we're gonna test out, we're gonna do swatches of all the blue grays. These are the blue gray. I kind of wish there was more of these because I actually really like the color blue gray. It's a really nice color, especially if you want to draw like a nice rolling sky with maybe clouds. But this is the back side of the markers. The alcohol from my blending sheet kind of got on the edge there, but it's all good. I still really like these markers. As long as they blend, that's all that really matters to me. Usually I can just fix this with like either like whiteout or something.
So now that we've looked at the product, let's actually talk about the product's pros and cons. And the very first pro is that this set comes with a wide range of gray shades for just only $20 US, which is crazy and like very cheap and affordable. Especially with people like me who, you know, can't spend, you know, $500 a month on markers alone. But I also like the design of the caps and the barrel are very unique and set them apart from other competitors in the very cheap, affordable marker industry. And these markers come with a tote bag so that you can take them wherever you want, like on vacation or to school or the library or a cafe, wherever you want to go. These little suckers can fit in like a backpack. You can also use these markers alongside with other art supplies. I tested them out and I use these all the time, like with other illustrations, you know, for skin and stuff and hair. And they work great with colored pencils, jelly roll, really anything, and also they worked really good with my Ohuhu, so if you want to get these to also work alongside with other brands, I would highly recommend them. They're very affordable. You can layer a butt ton of pressure and color without ripping and destroying your paper, unless if you're using printer paper. And especially unlike the water-based markers, which will just destroy everything and make a giant hole in your illustration. And then these markers do a wonderful job at blending, especially if you know how to blend. And the last one is that these markers come with a bullet nib and a chisel nib for large and small areas of coverage. Now let's talk about the cons. The very first con for these markers is that they are alcohol based, so they will bleed and feather through certain types of paper, like printer paper, for example. Please, younger artists, I always recommend and I always tell people, don't use printer paper when you're drawing. It's printer paper. It doesn't say art paper, it doesn't say sketching paper, it doesn't say marker paper, it says printer paper. It's for the printer, not for art, okay? So don't use it. Don't use it unless if you are that broke and you can't afford sketching paper or marker paper. Just don't use it. But another con is that there is no brush nib for these markers. There is no colorless blender in this set of markers. These markers aren't light fast, so they will fade over time in contact with direct sunlight. But again, Copics aren't light fast either. Just because they're expensive does not mean that they are not going to fade over time. You can only find these markers on Amazon and on their personal website at Arrtx.com. Link in the description down below if you guys are interested. And you can't find these markers in retail stores. Sadly, you cannot find them in like Walmart, Joann's, Hobby Lobby, any drugstore or Michael's. You can't find them there. You can only find them on Amazon or on their website. If like you lose the cap because it doesn't fit on the other end, good luck, because you're probably never gonna get that cap back unless if it rolled under your desk and you can find it again. But just don't lose the cap because it won't fit on the other end. You cannot buy an individual marker. Some colors are not as accurate as the cap. And the very last thing is that sometimes during multiple use, the color name will scratch off. So what I would recommend is either putting a piece of tape or rewriting the name on there with a permanent marker or a white paint pen if you have white lettering. So try to do that if you have that issue. And now on to my final thoughts of this product. I would personally give this marker product a 7.5 out of 10. How I would recommend it, and I would recommend it, especially if you want a larger pack of grayscale markers and not buying like a 6-pack for like $20. This is much more worth it because you get a lot more bang for your buck. I would highly recommend these for an artist who can't afford grayscale markers for realism, manga, comics, or illustration. I would highly recommend it if you need a better selection of grayscale markers. Like if you got a set that doesn't have a whole lot of markers, this is a great set to get some more grayscale colors. This way you have like a much more wider selection in your collection. That kind of rhymes. Wider selection in your collection. These are great for artists who don't have a ton of money to splurge on. i.e. me, I don't have a whole lot of money to splurge on really anything, so for the more expensiver brands, but these are really, really good and I would highly recommend them. Lastly, that these markers would make a wonderful gift for birthdays, graduations, or Christmas. So now our very first artist in our artist mentions for this week's video is EC98. You can find her on DeviantArt. Versatiles Doll, you can find her on DeviantArt. ViBox5 Instagram, Blue Cameo Instagram, and DA. I'll leave all the links down below to their art. You guys can go check them out. If you guys want to become a featured artist, you can either be, you know, a new followers, or, you know, yeah, that's pretty much how you get on there, or you do nice comments. It's really just depends. But yeah, so those are the artist mentions. And finally, make sure you guys subscribe for more content. I will definitely try to upload much more frequently. It's pretty hard to when you have a lot of things going on, and I didn't really have a whole lot of time this summer to do that. So hopefully in the future I will. Make sure to like and comment down below your thoughts and opinions on these markers. Would you buy them for yourself, or would you just shave money for Copics? You know, hit the notification bell so you're like the first one that ever sees this video and that you always get updates on this channel. Follow me on social media such as Instagram and DeviantArt. If you want to support me in other ways in the channel, you can donate to my PayPal or share the video on social media or just give it a like in general. Anyway, I hope you guys have a fantastic day and stay rockin'.